POV. You're a 12-year-old gamer. You're also an idiot. But that's okay, because all 12-year-olds are idiots. The most life experience you have is finally beating the Ender Dragon in Minecraft. Good job for that, by the way. But right now, it's time for you to gain some real life experience. Your parents just bought a sick gaming PC and granted you access to a Steam account. So naturally, the first thing you do as an idiot 12-year-old is you download Cyberpunk 2077. But when you get to the adjust penis size part of the character creation screen, your parents immediately lock the PC behind black curtains and put an 18+ sign out front. Now you're too young to know what Blockbuster is, but you now have first-hand experience. Your imagination starts to run wild like Hulkamania in the 80s. Another thing you don't know about. See, you're a stupid 12-year-old. You don't know anything. However, you are familiar with the word cyber, but for the life of you, you can't figure out what punk means. So, like any other good 12-year-old would do, you Google it. But unfortunately, you find this. You listen to it and you immediately determine that punk is just the "hey there fellow kids" meme, and it's not cool. No, that's not based. That's super cringe. Why would you want to play Cyberpunk if it's just this in 55 years? It can only get worse. But what if I told you that that band that took that huge pile of crap was at one point cool as hell? You see, that's a band called Green Day, and they took punk rock from the dirty world of Gilman Street all the way to the huge stages of MTV and Woodstock. More things that you have no idea about. But Green Day is kind of like the Minecraft of punk, okay? They're just like indie people developing indie ideas with not a huge plan in mind, but end up changing the entire industry that they're a part of. So in this video, I'm gonna draw 5 parallels between the gaming world and the punk world. What looks so different on the outside is actually quite similar once we dig a little deeper. The first thing they have in common is skill is optional. In punk, just like video games, you need to understand like the basic mechanics in order to just play. But as soon as you get those basic mechanics, once you learn what the buttons and strings do, you can stop your learning right then and there and have fun with the bare bones knowledge base. If you want to beat your friends at Smash Brothers, or you dream of ranking in Modern Warfare, you're gonna need to play, practice, practice. And the same goes for punk rock music, man. You can learn the 3 chords and just bang those out in your garage all day, every day. Or you can focus on the skills of the instrument and songwriting if you want to start a band with your friends. This work that gamers and punkers do behind the scenes is oftentimes overlooked and underappreciated by outsiders. Even those participating in the culture of video games and punk rock music overlook the hard work their favorite acts put in behind the scenes. You don't do it for other people to go, "Oh wow, you must have worked so hard on that." You do it to have fun, and the natural skills you've acquired by doing that has gifted you an audience. Most people don't want the pressure of being a live streamer or a touring act though. They just want to have some laughs with their friends and make a few cool memories along the way. If you do decide you want a spot as a performer though, competition is tough and the skill alone will not propel you to great heights. Find what makes you unique and draw people in with that. It's the hustle for sure. It can be deflating if you aren't seeing growth, but doing something you love, doing something you're passionate about is enough to get out of bed every morning and give it another shot. Playing video games is all about fun. And the fun is only magnified when you add the element of friends into the equation. You guys bond over a mutual thing, and those memories will embed themselves into the identity centers of your brain. These experiences can fundamentally impact the way that you socialize and make friends in the world around you. A new game that comes out might mean a new friend will be made through the enjoyment of it. There are message boards and an entire internet of Let's Play videos, streamers, and esports. There are news channels and Discord servers about every aspect of gaming. If you love to play video games, there are so many options at your fingertips to completely lose yourself in the hobby. Although much smaller in scale, the same can be said about listening to punk bands. No one goes to shows alone. It's all about friends and the fun you guys have with this thing that the rest of the world completely ignores. When you're engaged in a niche community, it can feel like the only thing that really matters in your life. You'll be told by parents and other authority figures that you'll eventually have to grow up, and these aren't good enough options for a happy and healthy adult lifestyle. Well, that's bullshit though. Fun and friends are great things to place in high value. Social skills can lead to networking, and meeting people can help you grow. Having fun shows that you can separate work from life. Balancing friends and fun as an adult can be very tricky, so if you focus on those skills as a kid, you'll have them for life. There's something so magical about finding someone who likes the same unknown thing as you. When I find someone else who appreciates 90s youth crew music, it must be the same as when Mudahar finds anyone else on the whole planet to talk about Deus Ex with. But sometimes you'll find those douchebags that are like, hey, you like this thing? That thing's my thing. You can't like that thing. And because you like that thing, I can't like that thing. And now my whole life is ruined. Thank you for ruining my life. That, of course, is the incorrect way to think. Now, the third way that these worlds intersect is that they are both destroying the youth. Video games ruined America in the 90s with the release of Mortal Kombat. The violence and the brutality was enough to poison the minds of an entire generation. Then in the 2010s, people learn about stealing for the first time when they see it happen in Grand Theft Auto 5. Video games teach kids how to be criminals. And those punk rockers, well, those are just the criminals that those filthy gamers turned into by playing these morally corrupt video games. I'm the news, and I'm saying this because it's the truth, and not because I'm fear-mongering for views and ratings. They're probably so evil because they grew up together. Punk rock and video games were born in the 70s. Atari gave birth to Pong in 1972, and the Ramones gave birth to their first record in 1974. The public was blown away by what we now see as obsolete. In the 80s, video games saw their first real boom when Nintendo did that whole Mario thing. It was still seen as just a toy for kids at that point though. But the vibrant colors and the 8-bit graphics were huge advancements at this time. And punk was also evolving and advancing at this time. It began to form into this more aggressive version of itself. They called themselves hardcore, but it was still seen as a nothing thing for nothing people that are going nowhere in life. But it wasn't until the 90s that both scenes would explode onto the world stage, taking over the mainstream with Super Mario World, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Dookie by Green Day. Now, Green Day was pretty much the first punk band since the Sex Pistols to be signed to a major label, and the world just sat there waiting for them to fail. They released a video for the song called Longview, and MTV played it 50 times a week. Now everybody's cooler older brother in the whole country was playing Sonic 2 and listening to Dookie. Now we sit here in 2021 and Green Day is just a run-of-the-mill stadium rock band. Video games are now played by mostly normies on their phone on the subway, but that doesn't mean anything. There are still authentic creators and developers out there passionate about leaving their legacy on their genre. Good games exist outside the App Store. Good music exists outside of curated Spotify playlists. Part of the fun is discovering the next awesome thing. You just need to trudge through a whole bunch of shit to get to it. Now, originally, I was gonna talk about the culture in the friends and fun section of the video, but it's really chunky enough to deserve its own section. Today, pretty much everyone plays one game or another. You're either still playing Candy Crush for whatever reason, you might have an Animal Crossing island, or you enjoy poning noobs online. Every kind of person has a video game tailored to how they personally interact with pixels on a screen. But just because everyone is playing video games right now doesn't mean the negative stereotypes go away. Those Animal Crossing players don't understand the time commitment of streaming or esports. Those Candy Crush boomers can't wrap their minds around watching someone else play a video game. If you're a fully grown man with an arcade in your house, you're still seen as a man-child that probably went to prom with their cousin. And punks too have always been stigmatized. God forbid you pick up a skateboard or whatever. And the reason punks and gamers don't care about these kinds of things is simple. They chose these things because they were weirdos and cast out already. It was punk rock and video games that gave these guys a sense of community and a sense of acceptance. They were already being judged, already cast out of society, so they chose a scene that feels like home, and that can't be taken away no matter how unwise the uninitiated tell them it is. So that societal bias that puts punks and gamers in a dark room to be forgotten is the same societal bias that gives punks and gamers a shared life experience that even they don't seem to be aware of. Video games have firmly entered punk culture. Punks fucking love video games. But there's gotta be someone that's gonna bring punk to video games that isn't Tony Hawk and that isn't CD Projekt Red. Gamers have conventions. Punks have festivals. My final conclusion in all this is that we just need to combine these things. We need to have a punk rock video game festival convention. That sounds like a viable business venture. Okay, thank you so much for watching that video. Like, comment, subscribe, or whatever. See you next time.